Harold Scheffler has been launching his boat in the Jeanneret Canal and fishing and crabbing in Lake Foss Point most of his 80 years.
Oh, I fish almost every day. The last 8 days I fished 7.
But today is not about fishing. Scheffler is taking me to one of the most spectacular stands of cypress trees anywhere in Louisiana. And I always wondered, gosh, if only there was a place where we could still see what it might have looked like.
This is it. This is what it looked like. And for some reason, the forest in this area wasn't timbered.
It's not just one cluster of trees. It's the entire shoreline around the lake. Some of these giants have been measured and samples taken that Scheffler says date them at 1,500 years of age.
I would say easily that there are trees here living that were also living when Christ walked earth. How many hurricanes, how many ice storms, how many tornadoes? You may go down the list and the tree is still living. What an amazing thing.
We take a moment to turn off the boat's engine. We hear only the sounds of birds, the sounds of nature.
If these trees could talk, what stories they could tell.
It's been nearly 80 years since Jack picked up his first musical instrument. He doesn't really practice anymore, but this is his warm-up for game day. Jack puts on what he calls his uniform, and he heads downstairs to a pre-game lunch with his neighbors. Like so many older Americans, Jack and his fellow residents at the Trace Senior Apartment Community in Covington have been pretty much alone since the pandemic hit.
I thought it might be fun for him because there's very little along that line that happens. Guess what happens today?
This is Jack's third Saint season playing his cornet here.
Clap with when we go along, keep time with it.
He gets a few claps and a few smiles as he tries to bring home the excitement of a Saints game. Jack grew up in New Orleans and picked up his first trumpet as a 5th grader at Crossman Elementary School. He not only picked his instrument, but he chose his profession. He wanted to be a band director.
I was determined that I was going to be a band director. That's what I wanted in life.
Here's a picture of Jack in high school in the Warren Easton Band. He's in the back row, and clarinetist Pete Fountain is in the front.
He was an excellent musician, and he took it very seriously.
This swamp tour of Western Terrebonne Parish has all of the usual attractions.
This is T-Mike. He's about a 5-footer, 4.5 to 5-footer. We just turned off this main bayou. We're going to start heading deeper into the beautiful swamps.
But during winter and early spring, the star attraction is the bald eagle.
Got one of my eagle's nests straight ahead on top of the cypress. I don't think Mama's in there right now.
Captain Billy Gaston took over this long-time swamp tour operation when work slowed down in the oil business.
So I had to kind of find something else to do, try to make a living. And I said, well, why not do something I love to do for a change, right? I love it, man. I tell you what, I get to meet great people from all over the world every day.
It's easy to spot the giant eagle nests tucked high in the cypress trees, where the birds will lay their eggs. And then the small brown feathered heads of the eaglets start appearing above the thatched rim of those nests. The eagle parents may be perched nearby, keeping an eye on their young. These musicians have been gathering on Monday nights for more than a decade, playing bluegrass music at the neighborhood Hi-Ho Lounge in New Orleans. Normally, this room would be crowded with amateur musicians, picking banjos, strumming guitars, and singing in tight harmonies.
You can tap your foot along with it, you can hear it, you can dance to it. It's very open and amenable to people, parts because it's on acoustic instruments. Anybody can come and figure out how to strum a 5-string.
That's how Monday nights were before the pandemic. Now a small group of pickers still gather on Monday nights, but the music is streamed online. Group leader Tucker Baker says he took up the banjo in college in New Orleans.
There was a class project when I was at Tulane. We had to do a music culture project, and I wanted to do mine on the banjo. 6 years ago, I found this jam, and I've been here ever since.